Mike Flanagan's Clayface movie gets a release date. Jennifer Love Hewitt finally joins the new I Know What You Did Last Summer. The big winners are here from the Horror Game Awards and showing some love here for a classic that's soon about to leave us. Yeah, a little bit different there. Hello and welcome to What Culture Horror with myself, Andrew Pollard. I hope you're good. I hope you had the best possible weekend. For me, I watched my beloved Wrexham have a 2-2 draw at home to Cambridge, which, to be fair, Cambridge very much deserved that point, so hey, good on them. But anyways, back to horror, more specifically to Mike Flanagan's upcoming Clayface movie for DC and Warner Brothers. Now, for those unfamiliar, Clayface is a Batman villain whose origins date all the way back to 1940, first created by Bill Finger and Bob Kane. Now, over the decades, we've had a whole bunch of different people take on the Clayface moniker. Literally, I think we could even be on like double figures by this point. But Basil Karlo and Matt Hagen are likely the most well-known versions of Clayface. Now, of course, comics being comics, the origins and personalities of these different Clayfaces has been tweaked, should we say, changed a little bit over the years, as has been the case when the characters have also been adapted for live action or animation. There's been a few changes here or there. Essentially, Clayface is a being made up of, well, clay or clay-like substances, depending on, again, which version it is, giving that character the ability to change their form, take on someone else's appearance. And while Clayface is a villain, there have been times when the character has been painted in, painted as more of a tragic villain, where they're involved in, say, shady business, but that's only because they're desperate to try and get their human form back, which was nicely highlighted, to be fair, probably best highlighted in Batman animated series back in the day, and then in the new Batman Adventures as well. With that was the Matt Hagen version of Clayface. Again, a very tweaked version of Matt Hagen, but was actually voiced as well by the legendary Ron Perlman. I'd say my close personal friend. I met him once and got to do a Comic-Con panel with him, so that that absolutely counts for me. Anyway, Clayface is now getting the big screen movie treatment with Mike Flanagan writing that film. Now, Flanagan is a modern day horror royalty, you'd say, probably these days. Having been the mind behind the likes of Midnight Mass, The Fall of the House of Usher, House on Haunted Hill, Gerald's Game, Doctor Sleep, of course, Hush. That's a very underrated little classic there. And the surprisingly strong Ouija Origin of Evil, which was a film that nobody needed, a sequel, well, a prequel that nobody needed because the first film was just absolutely horrendous. But Ouija Origin of Evil, it's actually really good. And now Clayface has been confirmed for a September 11th, 2026 release date. Now, given the very nature and appearance of Clayface, the character obviously leans very much towards horror a lot of the time. I mean, the Basil Karlo version of Clayface began life even as a horror actor who was kind of left shunted, put on the sides, and then kind of got his revenge on the world because they overlooked him. So it's no surprise to see Mike Flanagan previously say how this film would be part horror, part thriller, and part tragedy, which that has my attention. I mean, it's a tricky topic with this because, I mean, some people will question how wise it is to start developing standalone films with Batman villains. After all you need to do is look at how things worked out for, Morbius, or the early negative reviews of Kraven the Hunter that's been receiving over the weekend, just already being labelled a box office bomb and getting slammed by critics. But if you can somehow kind of block out the fact that Clayface is a Batman villain existing in a movie that likely does not have any Batman in it, there is plenty of potential there when it comes to exploring that tragic nature of the character. I mean, in terms of plot, though, there is nothing known just yet, or which version or versions of Clayface will be featured in this movie. But it is also worth noting and clarifying that, at least as of now, Clayface will not be directed by Mike Flanagan. It's just that Mike Flanagan is working, he's writing the script, and the hunt is currently on to find a director for the project. If he were to say, I'll take that on, I'll direct it, that just adds even more to it. But yeah, either way, let us know in the comments if you're keen to see Clayface get some time in the spotlight, give Clayface some love, and which versions of Clayface you would like to see brought to live action life. Now, switching gears and to a story that's kind of rumbled on for, realistically, months. But Jennifer Love Hewitt has now finally joined the cast of next year's I Know What You Did Last Summer movie. A legacy sequel in the same way that 2022 Scream was, as in you bring back familiar characters, familiar faces, but then you introduce new characters who can lead that franchise forward. This sequel is, confusingly, simply called I Know What You Did Last Summer, the same title as the 1997 film. In that first film, in case you're not familiar with it for some reason, Jennifer Love Hewitt played Julie James, one of a group of teenagers tormented by a hook-wielding fisherman. Hewitt would return as Julie in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer 1 year later, taking action to the Bahamas in a a film, a sequel that a lot of people like to dump on. For me, it's a dumb popcorn slasher film. I can switch off some of the logic of that film, and I just have a blast with it. And Jack Black's in it, and Jeffrey Combs is in it, and there's a lot of fun to be had, but there is a lot of things wrong with it. But now Julie James, Jennifer Love Hewitt would be absent from 2006's awful. I will never stop saying how awful it is. I'll always know what you did last summer. That was a third film. Now, that originally was supposed to be Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. were to return for that. But then the film just spent years in development hell. Yep. Those two departed it. New scripts came and went. New creatives came and went. And what we ultimately got was a third movie based around new characters in a different location. And with the murderous fisherman, Ben Willis, now some kind of supernatural ghost figure thing, and it was just awful. But anyway, Freddie Prinze Jr., his return for this new movie was confirmed earlier this year. I think it was maybe September. But he's back as Ray Bronson, the boyfriend of Julie James in those first two films. And as for Jennifer Love Hewitt, she's recently talked about how close she was to finalizing her return. It was just kind of constantly being teased, and she was like, yep, it's nearly there. I'd love to announce something. And then now it seemed to be what the problems was. Seemed to be a bit of an issue with the schedule being a little stacked by all accounts with the commitments to the 911 TV series. But regardless, the actress this weekend took to Instagram to confirm that yes, the return of Julie James is now official, noting how she knows what you'll be doing next summer. Now, production is already underway on this I Know What You Did Last Summer film. That's going to get really confusing, isn't it? I still... It like irks me, not irks me, because that sounds like it's like a personal insult, but it's just annoying that Scream, the fifth Scream movie, is just called Scream, and so you always have to refer to it as 2022 Scream. But anyway, production is underway on I Know What You Did Last Summer. The film is booked in for a July 18th, 2025 release. Do Revenge's Jennifer Caton Robinson is on directing duties and has co-wrote the script. And yeah, it's one of them where it's very much on my radar. The first film is great. Like I said, the second one, I've got a lot of time for the second one. Third film, nah. But anyway, away from that, because I could talk about how bad that film is for days. So let's switch gears a little bit and let's turn over to gaming. Now, the general 2024 Game Awards, kind of left horror a little out in the cold, shall we say. But the Horror Game Awards, that took place over the weekend with the finest horror games of the year getting some much deserved love. To the surprise of pretty much nobody, the Bloober Team's Silent Hill 2 remake took home the top prize of the Game of the Year award for 2024, beating out competition from A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead, Buckshot Roulette, Crow Country, Five Nights at Freddy's Hollow Body, Home Safety Online, Indigo Park, Chapter 1, Mouthwashing, Shipwreck 64, Slitterhead, Sorry We're Closed, Still Wakes the Deep, and The Outlast Trials. And that wasn't the only prize for Silent Hill 2, with Luke Roberts getting the Best Performance Award for his work as James Sunderland, Akira Yamaoka winning the Best Soundtrack Award as well, and the game getting the Best Survival Horror Game Award. So yeah, Silent Hill 2 did very well. Also, Masahiro Ito, someone so synonymous with the Silent Hill franchise, got the Lifetime Achievement Award as well. So yeah, it was a busy old time, a busy old award ceremony for the Silent Hill 2 lot. Now, elsewhere, Slay the Princess, the Pristine Cut won the Most Accessible Game Award. Mouthwashing won Best Narrative and the Player's Choice Award. Chillers Art won Best Indie Developer. Lethal Company won Best Multiplayer, edging out my own personal choice, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, of course. Best Developer went to Capcom. Best VR went to Resident Evil 4 VR. Markiplier won Content Creator of the Year. The Alien Isolation sequel won the Most Anticipated Horror Game. And Still Wakes the Deep took home the Best Indie Game and Technical Achievement Awards. Now, for me, a special mention to Still Wakes the Deep, as that's one I've been working my way through over this past, week or so, and I am having such a blast with that game. I kind of think I'm near the end, but I'm not totally sure. Regardless, let's just say things have very much taken a dark, demented turn, and I am totally here for it. I should probably add as well, I picked up Still Wakes the Deep for £20 on sale, on discount, on offer, however you want to phrase it. The best 20 quid I've spent in a long time, that I believe it's actually still on offer until the 20th of December, so the end of the week, and I'd highly recommend it. Just the general sound design alone is like staggering. The score, the sound effects, the phenomenal voice performances, the character interactions, the dialogue exchange. Just an exceptional game. So it's nice to see that pick up a couple of awards here. Now, one last thing to wrap up this video, and something a little bit different. and it is sticking with horror video games. And it's been, let's say, a fairly slow news weekend as we build towards the holidays and New Year. But I just wanted to give a little bit of love to Friday the 13th, the game. Now, this past Friday marked the last actual Friday the 13th that you'll be able to play Friday the 13th, the game, online with friends, as the game is sadly having its servers shut down at the end of the year. Now, obviously, me and some pals jumped on Friday for a good few rounds, and again, it was just a lot of fun. Now, licensing issues are what's caused problems for the game. Plans for new content are halted, plans for Uber Jason from Jason X even scrapped. And now we're at the point where the game is delisted and its servers being shut down. But what a whole lot of fun this has been since the game arrived in, 2017, from Gun Media and Ilphonic, I should probably add. Now, as a horror fan, as a Friday the 13th fan, this has just been like just the perfect kind of love letter to that franchise. There's so many Easter eggs. Perfectly captures like the aesthetic of the movies, of the various iterations of Camp Crystal Lake. The Jason skins in there, the nods to the older NES, Nintendo Jason as well in there, the old video game. The extremely rare Tom Savini design skin, and I'm always here for Tom Savini. The Harry Manfredini soundtrack, the Jarvis tapes, Kane Hodder doing the motion capture work, bringing back Tom Matthews to voice Tommy Jarvis, Larry Zerner as Shelley, having Fox in the game. Yeah, Friday the 13th, the game just nailed so much for fans of the franchise. And as someone who wasn't much of an online gamer, in fact, I'm still not really. There's Killer Clowns I'll play, and there's a little bit of Texas Chainsaw Massacre now and again. But I met some people on Friday the 13th who I'm still very close friends with now, who text on a daily basis, who whenever I'm online will jump in the party chat and just, talk about everyday stuff. So yeah, Friday the 13th, it's been a great run, and it'll be a sad day when that run finally comes to an end. I mean, sure, it wasn't perfect, as immediately I realized when the first round I played on Friday ended after a couple of minutes as the host disconnected after being killed. But again, those gripes and issues very much mirror the general Friday the 13th franchise, I guess. There's highs, there's lows, but there's always a lot of fun to be had. I mean, apart from Jason Goes to Hell, that was total garbage. But even that had like the excellent opening few minutes before things clearly very much fell off a cliff. But either way, I just wanted to take a few minutes to say Friday the 13th, the game. Yeah, man, we salute you. Thanks for the memories. Thanks for the entertainment. And who knows? Maybe, just maybe there's some sort of last minute intervention. It looks very unlikely, let's be honest, but you never know. And with that brings today's video to a close. In fact, that brings the last horror news video of the year to a close, because I'm finishing work on Thursday for the holidays, and I won't be returning until the new year. So yeah, whatever you're doing for those holidays, whatever you're celebrating or not celebrating, I hope it all goes well for you. Have a good new year as well. This has been What Culture Horror. I've been Andrew Ballard, and I will catch you, well, in 2025, I guess.